up guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing well, staying safe out there. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I got this teal and silver makeup look. So if you're interested in seeing how I got it, then just go ahead and keep on watching. As usual, I'm going to be priming my eyes using a mixture of the Morphe Fluidity concealer in 3.55 and the Bperfect eyeshadow priming base. I'm going to use the concealer first to carve underneath my brows, and then I'll just add my primer onto the lid space. Next, I'm going to move on to eyeshadows. A majority of the shadows that I'm going to be using for this look are from the Beaute Oceanic palette. This is my favorite like blue palette. It has so many beautiful blue eyeshadows. It's just so pretty. So I'm going to go in first with the shade Pacific and just start adding that onto the outer corner and the crease. And we're going to be doing more of a winged look today. So I'm just going to really make sure to wing out that outer corner as I'm applying my shadow. Then to blend out the edges of our first transition color, I'm going to go into a mixture of Turtle and Blue Clam, and using one of my favorite brushes, this is my Morphe M506, I'm going to go ahead and start blending out those edges. Then for my final transition shade, I'm going to go into the color Fiji, and using a clean Morphe M506, separate from my last brush, I'm going to start blending out the edges of our second transition color. And I'm just going to make sure to use a very light hand with this just so I get a really seamless blend. Before I go in to cut the crease using my eyeshadow base, I'm going to use a little bit of Garnier's Micellar water to clean up the lid space first and just make sure there's no like excess shadow anywhere, so that way our eyeshadow base doesn't like blend in with the shadow and like create like this muddy mess on our eyes. I used to use a makeup wipe for this step, but I just hated the way that it kind of made like my eyelids like super oily. So I was watching Beth Painter on Instagram and she used micellar water, which is completely genius because micellar water doesn't have oil in it, so it doesn't make your eyelid all oily and stuff just like a makeup wipe would, or like a cleansing balm or a regular eye makeup remover. So yeah, I'm going to use a little bit of that along with a Q-tip and just start cleaning up the eyelid space. Then once I'm done with that, I'll go back in with my eyeshadow priming base, same one that I used to prep the eyes originally from Bperfect Cosmetics, and I'm going to go ahead and start cutting the crease. Then to fill in the lid, I'm going to use the shade Moon Glow from the Beaute Paradise Fallen palette, and I'm just going to make sure to use a patting motion to apply this so I'm not like messing up my cut crease and everything. We want to make sure all of our lines stay super clean and very sharp. Next, I'm going to go in with some liquid eyeshadow from Stila Cosmetics. This is their Glittery Glow liquid eyeshadow in the shade Diamond Dust. So it's this really pretty silvery color, so it's going to work perfectly for the lid space. I'm just going to add this to the very edges of the cut crease to kind of act as like a backdrop for our glitter. Then next I want to start blending out that outer corner, so I'm going to go back in with that shade Pacific, which is our first transition color, and start applying that onto the outer corner first. I'm going to take it into the lid just a tiny bit just so I can start creating that blend in between the outer corner and the lid space. And then right after, I'll go back in with that shade Fiji, which is like that really pretty like minty blue type of color, and I'll go right over the edge of our shade Pacific to finish off that gradient effect. Then now for the fun part, we're going to add our glitter. The glitter that I'm going to be using today is from Glow Up Academy, of course. This one is their Ice Me Out glitter, and it's so pretty, guys. If you guys haven't tried the Glow Up Academy glitters, you really need to. Kiki Adams is like seriously killing it with these. So I'm going in with the NYX Glitter Primer first, just to kind of give it something to stick onto, and then I'll add my glitter right on top. For mascara, I'm going to be using a new mascara from Covergirl. This is their Exhibitionist Uncensored mascara, and I'm just going to do a couple of coats of that to prep my lashes for falsies. And then the lashes that I'm using today are from Lilly lashes. These are in the style Sydney. I also use the Lilly Lashes lash glue, which I really like. And yeah, I'm just going to add those using some tweezers and just make sure to press them together with my natural lashes so there's no like gap or anything like that in between. So I'm going to move on to skin now. Lately my skin has been more on the dry side, so I'm going to moisturize first using this new face oil that I got from Milani. This is from their Rose collection, I believe. And yeah, I'm just going to massage that into the skin real quick just to kind of give some extra, moisture to my skin because it is a little bit more dry. And then to prime the skin, I'm also going to use the new Milani Rose Primer. I'm just going to massage that into the skin and just make sure to really like let that sit before I apply my foundation and everything. Then for the T-zone area, I'm definitely more on the oily side there still. Like my forehead and my nose are still very oily. So I'm going to go in with the Farsali liquid powder serum and I'm just going to add that onto the T-zone area to help control the oil there. Moving on to foundation, I'm going to be using the Bakerie Instabake foundation. It's been a minute since I've used this one, but I really like it. It's still one of my favorites. And I'm going to use a mixture of two shades. I've got 319N and 321W. And I'm just going to buff that in using a Juno & Co. microfiber velvet sponge. Also another favorite tool of mine. I haven't used it in a little bit. So I'm going to add that foundation and just make sure to blend it in really well before I move on to concealer. And of course I had to jump in with the Bakerie Instabake concealer as well. So I'm going to also use two shades. This is Crème Bru-Slay and Karak Chai. I think that's how you say it. I'm using a mixture of those two shades. But I'm going to go in with the more yellowy toned concealer first and use that to brighten all the areas that I want to highlight. So the under eyes, the forehead, a little bit on the nose, on the sides of the mouth, and the Cupid's bow. Then for a little bit of extra brightness, I'm going to use the Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealer. This one is in the shade Honey, and it's a lot lighter than my previous concealers, so I'm going to make sure to only use a very small amount of this because this is a super full coverage concealer, so a little bit of this goes a really long way. Then moving on to cream contour, I actually picked up this e.l.f. cream contouring palette during a Target run, and I'm actually really happy that I picked it up because I love the way that this cream contouring palette like blends into the skin. It's super like easy to blend. It's not like difficult or anything like that. Like the cream isn't like stiff like some creams that I've tried before, but I really like this. Like if you're looking for an inexpensive, way to cream contour, I definitely recommend you guys trying this one out. So now that I've got all my cream and liquid products all down, I'm going to add my powders now. I'm first going to set the under eyes using the Beauty Bakerie Flower Setting Powder in the shade Cassava. This is just like your typical like yellow, powder, but this formula is really amazing. I love their flower setting powder. So I'm just going to add that on all the areas that I added my concealer. Then to set the rest of the face, I'm going to go in with some pressed powder from LA Girl. This is their Pro HD Face Pressed Powder. I think that's like what it's called. And this one is in the shade Classic Tan. I'm just going to go in with a much fluffier brush this time just to get a really light coverage. I'm not going for like anything super heavy. I just basically just want to set everything. And just to snatch up the nose a little bit, I'm going to go back in with that flower setting powder from Beauty Bakerie and add a little bit of extra powder to the sides of the nose as well as the bridge of the nose. And that's just going to give me like that more subtle highlight. Then to set my cream contour, I'm going to use the Anastasia powder bronzer in the shade Mahogany. And as I'm applying my bronzer, I'm just letting that powder kind of sit there and bake for a little bit. So once I'm done, I'm just going to go ahead and dust that all away. And it just gives me like that really nice like snatched nose look. So next I'm going into blush. You guys know I've been really loving blush. So I'm going to be using the Beauty Bakerie Scoops Elysee blush palette, and I'm going in with a mixture of these two shades here. It's like more of an orangey color, and one is more of like a berry pink type of shade. I'm going to apply the pink one more so like on the tops of the cheeks, kind of like where I would apply a highlight, and then I'll use the orangey type of color more so on the apples of the cheeks. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish up the eyes. I'm going to go back into that shade Fiji, and I'm going to start applying that onto the lower lash line. So I'm going in with a Morphe M506 just so I get a really nice like blended look. Then to really define the lash line, I'm going to go back in with my shade Pacific and just add that super close to the lashes. And that'll pretty much be it for like the lower lash line as far as like shadows are concerned. Right after, I'm just going to add some liner onto the waterline. I'm using this beige liner from L'Oreal. This is their Infallible eyeliner in the shade Nude. And then from there, I'll just go ahead and add my lower lash mascara. I'm just using the same mascara that I used for my top lashes. So I'm gonna go in with some individual lashes. I'm using the Double Up lashes from Ardell, and I'm using the shortest ones. And I'm gonna add 2 of them onto the outer corner of the lower lash line. I'm not sure why, I just really like the way that this looks. I feel like it just makes the eyes look so much more like doll-like, if that makes sense. Then next I'll go back in with that shade Moon Glow from Ace Beauty from the Paradise Fallen palette, and I'm gonna pop that onto the inner corners to keep everything nice and bright. For the brows, I'm going to be using the LA Girl Brow Pomade, and this one is in the shade Soft Black. I'm going to be doing a little bit more of a sculpted brow today, so I'm going to create like a line at the bottom of my brow, fill in the inside of my brow by creating faux brow hairs, and then I'll create like a little line at the top to bring everything together. So I haven't been highlighting my face, but I still like to highlight my nose. And for that, I'm going to use the MAC Extra Dimension Skin Finish in the shade Oh Darling. I'm going to add a little bit of that onto the bridge of the nose, the tip, and the sides of the nose. Going back in with that same LA Girl brow pomade that I used to fill in my brows, I'm going to use this to go over any like dark spots that I have that might not have been covered all the way with my foundation. So I have one on my cheek that's been really bothering me. I've been trying so hard to get rid of this one. So just to kind of camouflage it a little bit better, I'm just going to create a little faux beauty mark there. Yeah, so it's not like as noticeable and everything. Then next, I'm going to move on to the lips. I'm going to start lining them first using the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Downtown Beauty. Honestly, I haven't used this lip liner in so long, and I can't even understand why. This used to be one of my favorite lip liners to use. It just has like this really pretty like brown, like neutral brown undertone to it. But yeah, if you guys are looking for like a good lip liner, definitely check these ones out. And they come in like a huge variety of colors too. Then to fill in my lips, I'm going to be using the Anastasia Matte Lipstick. It just has like this really beautiful like super matte finish, but this one is in the shade Nude. And then to add a little bit of extra brightness onto the lips, I'll use the Anastasia liquid lipstick in the shade Sand, and I'm gonna put that onto the center of the lips to create more of like that pouty, like highlighted look. Then to set everything in place, I'm going to finish up with Beauty Bakerie's Sweet Grace Setting Spray. And that pretty much completes this look, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this makeup tutorial. I love the way that this look came out. I hope you guys did too. If you did, don't forget to let me know down below in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.